Good evening everyone. Welcome to Banao Bharat's Trading for Living post-market live session. Today is 27th of Feb and Tuesday Fin Nifty expiry day. Before going to the Fin Nifty, let us first look into the Nifty chart. Not much to talk about in Nifty. It's been hovering within the range for last 2 days. You can see here the last week's high of 22,297 still remains intact, and again the last week low of 21,875 also is there. So for large part of yesterday and today, markets have remained in the sideways range itself. Today it has been hovering around 22,075, that is yesterday's low, and just slightly touched yesterday's high and closed around the yesterday's high level itself. So the closing is around 22,193. Mainly not much price action that was visible in Nifty, or for that matter even in Bank Nifty and Fin Nifty today. After a big wild swing that we witnessed in the last week, ferocious weekly expiries, this week has started off on a very calm note, and that has been witnessed yesterday and today. There is not much of price action, but overall I would believe this is kind of like lull before the storm, which means I am expecting a big unwinding of positions in the coming days, probably on the expiry day itself. Let us see the Bank Nifty chart. Bank Nifty chart also just touched yesterday's or last week's low of 46,324 and closed at 46,617. Even yesterday we had discussed this level of 46,426 actually, and created a new low of 46,324. Bank Nifty, we had discussed yesterday that for this settlement the holding of last week's level is important. Looking at today's price action, the way it came to the last week's low and then bounced back from there very immediately within almost in the next candle itself, and closing above that gives some hope that probably for this settlement Bank Nifty will continue to trade higher, and it may not in a hurry break the current week's low which has been created today. So for next 2 days I think Bank Nifty will hover above 46,600 levels on the spot. This is the spot chart that I am discussing. So keep in mind we have already hit last week's low and we are already seeing some bounce back today. If it holds for one more day, that is tomorrow, then for the monthly expiry on Thursday we can expect Bank Nifty to hold up, which means our discussion on big unwinding in Nifty, we don't know how it happens because lot of counters are there in Bank Nifty which are having significant impact on the Nifty also, which means the one scenario that might emerge is tomorrow markets may go higher and then on Thursday they may start unwinding. That is one possibility wherein all the stocks including the banking stocks or the PSU banks and the heavyweights in Nifty may see some unwinding. Today we saw some big action in TCS. If TCS was not taken higher, then probably Nifty would have closed anywhere between 0.5% to 1% down today itself. But for TCS up move that was averted and TCS has closed very well. TCS is very close to one of the minor resistance which might get taken out very soon, and it might start going higher and make new highs for the month of February. So mainly before talking of the coming expiry, we will once look of the Fin Nifty chart. This is CNX Fin Service, closed at 2567. There was some short build up at 2600 and it has not actually, it for once later in the day probably in the afternoon it made a new high at 20,631, but it was an insignificant movement. After that, for the large part of the day, it has been trading around or between 20,500 to 20,600. So that was the CNX Fin Service range for the day, between 20,500 to 20,600. Very calm expiry, not much to talk about. So let us discuss how the next 2 days may pan out. Mainly for the February month, if you see the February month's hourly chart, you can see for the large part of February we have been trading above January's levels. This is the January's chart on the left side. Okay, so this is 2 months chart. You can see here the patches of price action in January. You saw a gap here, you saw a gap here, and big gap here, and one more gap here, one big swing from high to low. Again with the gap there was some movement, but it did not get sustained. But that was the price action of January, and in the month of February we are not seeing so much of a wild swing. We are seeing some kind of a measured price action, wherein of course here also there was some amount of zigzag. We saw the February opening well, coming down little bit, again trying to make a new high, but immediately it fell sharply and bounced back also sharply. After this good bounce back also there was not enough volumes, and it has been hovering below the recent highs for last 2 days. So this expiry is going to be an interesting one. Mostly and most likely my take on this coming expiry is probably will be witnessing big chunk of unwinding of positions, which may or may not start tomorrow. Mainly the reason is Bank Nifty has shown some support at last week's low, and it has bounced back exactly as we discussed from the last week's low, and it has closed higher. One more day it might be higher, and all of them may start getting unwinded on Thursday. So that is what I am expecting. How to trade tomorrow Nifty and Bank Nifty? Nifty, there is not much to trade for tomorrow. Probably we may have to wait for the big expiry. One more thing that we need to notice is February generally is a short month, but even in this short month we have 5 expiries, which is a very rare occasion. Of course this is a this February we have 29th also to be counted, leap year. That being the case, and it has got lucky by getting 5 expiries. Generally on any given month, whether it is 30 days or 31 days, generally we see about 4 expiries in any given month, and few months in a year, probably 1 or 2 months in a year, it used to be 5 expiries. February being a short month, we are seeing the 5th expiry, and this is the way the whole of this month it has behaved. My take is some amount of unwinding is on cards on Thursday. So for Nifty for tomorrow there is not much to talk about, not much to discuss the levels, but for Bank Nifty it has taken the support and it has closed higher. So probably look for some intraday long trades tomorrow based on your systems and parameters, and on Thursday let us see how the expiry or the monthly expiry goes. So let us once again catch up tomorrow evening for the post market live session. Until then, Om Swasti.